Hey there folks, welcome back to Tits and Cardboard, and after a much awaited amount of time, approximately 1 year,
yes,
we are back with our top 30 games of all time.
All time.
Ever. Always.
Yes, sir.
The top 30. Strap in, get ready, we'll catch you in a second. So before we start, because this is the first video in the series of 3,
yes,
we don't know each other's lists, we're going to be guessing.
Yep.
No campaign games were allowed.
Correct.
This was pub meepled with minor finagling.
Yep.
And we're clearly gluttons for punishment because we did 20 games last year and it was by far the highest effort video we've ever done.
So much B-roll.
We decided now taking B-roll for 30 games was a good idea.
Yeah.
And
more than 30 games.
With that, we're also going to be trying to guess each other's games as we go.
Yes, we're going to be giving each other hints back and forth.
Yeah. With that, Jeffrey.
Okay. My number 30, my worst of all the best of all time.
Your worst best.
Yes. Okay, so this is a game that I've been wanting to play for a bit. It came out a few years ago. I can't remember the actual year, but it is a worker placement game.
Yep.
You have a crap ton of workers. It's medieval themed.
Okay.
It has construction involved. You're working for the king. You're trying to hire apprentices. You're trying to build buildings. Place your workers around the map.
I've never
resources.
played this, but it's Viscounts of the West Kingdom.
No, it's not. You're close though. It's Architects of the West Kingdom. Yes.
Okay.
This is a great game. I am excited to play it more. I'm not going to be surprised at all if over time, after I get more and more plays, that this is going to be climbing because it's a really cool game. I love any type of engine building where you can upgrade your stuff whenever you take an action. It's getting more powerful. In Architects, it's really unique that you place workers, and for every additional worker that you have at a spot, you get a more powerful action. But one of the coolest things about this game is there's a really, really integral take that aspect to it where you can imprison your opponent's workers, which is really, really cool. You got to pay to get them out and everything. It's a really cool game. Looking forward to just playing it over and over and over again. And yeah, that's my number 30, Architects of the West Kingdom.
Nice.
Yeah. Okay, John, your worst of the best of all time.
My worst of the best has dropped quite a bit from where it was. Exactly 13 points if you were watching.
We've had a lot of movement for a lot of our games, especially you.
A lot of movement. It is an abstract tile drafting, tile laying game. Okay. You're creating patterns of tiles. You're creating patterns of animals.
Okay.
You're in the wild. You're creating a habitat for said animals, I guess. And that game is...
Cascadia?
It is Cascadia.
Yeah, Cascadia, yeah.
Yeah, it still makes the list. It is my most played game of all time.
Yes, it is.
As far as plays go, not as far as time goes, obviously. I still think it's super brilliant as far as introducing new people to the general genre of board games.
It's an amazing gateway game.
I think
it's just solid.
It's got great depth, so it still stays interesting for people 100%. Who want a little more strategy.
Yep.
It's just now not being replaced, but there's a lot of games like it, obviously due to its success. One of which I think is better, which doesn't exist yet, in Shallow Sea.
Yeah, Shallow Sea's cool.
But Shallow Sea, Cascadia, Habitats, Harmonies, they're all kind of in the same verdant.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
they're all in the same kind of genre-ish.
Yeah. And I think Shallow Sea is the best of them. I can't rate it because it doesn't exist yet, so Cascadia lands 30th.
Fair. All
29.
Right. My number 29. Okay.
Yes,
so
sir.
My 29 is related a little bit to Architects of the West Kingdom. That's a little bit of a hint. You are going to be building ships. You are going to be doing an engine builder. It is a Viking themed. It is a very, very tight game of resources, and you're going to be drafting cards to get all of your stuff, and you're just going to be trying to do as much as you can on each turn, get more and more of an engine going, and just try and score as many points as possible. Can we guess? Shipwrights of the North Sea Redux.
Nice.
It's so good. I played this year, and it came out early on this year, I believe, the Redux version. Apparently, I didn't play the original Shipwrights, but apparently it wasn't amazing. But with the Redux, the reworks, and everything that they did to it, it's apparently fantastic. Very, very tight engine builder. You're just trying to score as many points, build as many boats as you can, get all the resources for that, using your cards in multi-use ways. It's great. I can't wait to play it more and more and more and more. It's super tight. There's other games. I love drafting games. I really like engine builders. And yeah, it's super solid. And this is another one that I think is going to be climbing as I get more and more plays in.
Yeah, I'm a little behind on the Garfield games. I've played a few of them, but I haven't played that many of them. So I guess I got to do I know they just released, or they have released these boxes that let you turn the trilogies into campaign games. That's
yes, yes, that's coming out. Yeah. They've done that a few times. And I haven't played any of the South Tigers games. I'm really excited to try those out as well this coming year. Yeah.
All right.
Okay, nice. Sir. You're number 29.
My number 29, I will imagine, will make an appearance somewhere on your list.
Okay.
I don't know where.
Okay.
It's new to my list. We played this together for the first time at Breakout Con with Taylor.
Mm-hmm.
It is a deck building area control game set in the Dungeons and Dragons kind of world.
Yeah, I know what it is.
And it is
Tyrants of the Underdark.
It is Tyrants of the Underdark.
This is a great game.
This is like the breeziest area control game on the planet to actually play. Like,
yeah,
the
a little
way
bit.
It plays is it just plays like a raw deck builder, but as opposed to like chunking life off of people or like building an engine, you're just putting things on a map.
Yeah, 100%.
There's
you're
a
placing
lot of
dudes, killing dudes.
The game has so much variability because the way you play the game is there's like a bunch of decks you play with, and then all you do is combine 2 decks, and then you have a set of standard cards. You just play the game. There's also like fan-made decks you can add that are professionally printed, which are phenomenal.
Very excited to try those in the future.
And it's just really easy to teach and super fun. And I love the mechanic of when you remove a card from your deck, you score points based on how strong that card was.
So culling scores you points.
So towards the end of the game, you want to cull like a really strong card.
Yes, 100%. Yeah.
Tyrants of the Underdark. It's great.
Great pick. Absolutely great pick.
Thank you, sir. 28.
Okay, so 28 is another engine builder. It's another drafting game. It's a very pure draft, build, score points.
Sure.
So you're going to be drafting cards that are going to be either constructed or recycled. If you construct those cards, you use the resources that you're already producing to actually build them up, as well as the cards that you draft. You can basically burn them to gain specific resources. Each card is a little bit different. And all those cards that you build are either going to produce you more resources, or they're going to score you points in some form or fashion, or they're going to get you resources and score you points. And you are aware of this game. I don't know if you played this game. I think you used to own this game.
I used to own it?
I believe you did. I'm almost positive you did. I own 2 versions of it. So it's a wonderful world.
Oh, no, I never owned this.
Oh, this game's great. This game's great. So this is basically a pure draft cards, build an engine, score points.
Cool.
But it's such a good version of that. And I think it plays up to 5 players. It at least plays up to 4. And it's a different game every single time, or at every different player count. Every single time you play it as well, because the cards come out differently. There's some expansions. Apparently you can play a campaign as well with one of the expansions.
Cool.
But yeah, it's really cool. Pure engine builder drafting game. And it's just fantastic. If you haven't tried it, definitely do so. If you're thinking about buying it, try it on BGA first. It's on there. I've played it dozens of times on there. So it's fantastic.
Yeah, I'd give it a shot on BGA. It sounds interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I've got a copy, so we can also play it in person.
It's a Wonderful Kingdom is supposed to be good as well.
I have that as well, but I haven't played that one yet.
Fair enough.
Yeah, it seems pretty cool.
All right.
Okay, sir. All right, so your number 28.
My number 28, and if you're wondering why we're looking to the sides, it's because we have like hidden phones and iPads and stuff. My number 28
so many games.
Is a worker placement game.
Okay.
It is about like, we'll call it like the spice and, not spice, what's the right word? It's like the fabric trade.
Okay.
It is, you're placing workers. Those workers are used either as worker placement for various locations, or when you place workers and gain resources, the workers bump into these resource bays and become resources temporarily.
Oh, okay.
And then when you spend those resources, they become workers you can place out again.
I think I know what this is. I think you were telling me about this recently.
The game in question
I haven't played this.
Also has like a whole, it's like a engine building, tableau building kind of mechanic where you're buying worker placement locations.
Okay.
And you have like a tableau building in the sense of you can play cards, which are abilities that also build out a tableau as people. And that game is?
Amalfi?
Amalfi Renaissance.
Yeah, I'm excited to try this one.
Amalfi is phenomenal. Again, I've said basically everything there is to say about it. It's great. It's like a really breezy, really thinky worker placement game. The puzzle of using workers as resources is really interesting because the more workers you have, the more you can do.
Yeah.
But is that more going to be more actions or pumping in more resources to take bigger actions and that kind of thing?
That's cool.
Also, I love the race to get the completed objectives done kind of thing. And most Euro games, I love that first come, first serve type of deal.
Yeah.
Really well thought out. It's by a publisher I'm really loving, Uchibakoya. Killing it.
I love their games.
They're
good games. I just haven't played as many as you.
So good. Anyway, all right, sir. We're on 27.
27. Okay, so I am going to be going in a little bit of a similar vein. So that's a bit of a hint for you. This is another Viking themed game.
I know what it is already.
Okay, so it's a worker placement game. It has a very unique mechanic of you're going to be placing a worker, and then you're going to be retrieving another worker to do another action.
Yep.
You're going to be going to your village, building up a crew, and going raiding. And he already knows what that is, so it is...
Raiders of the North Sea.
Yes, Raiders of the North Sea. Raiders of the North Sea is a classic. I believe it was higher on my list last year. I didn't check to see actually where it fell, but Raiders is great. I've loved that game since I played it. I think it was one of the first modern board games that I ever played when I really got into the hobby. I've been playing games my entire life, but it's fantastic. Very simple, very easy to get into, as most of the North Sea Garphill games are. Basically, simple worker placement. You're trying to go and raid different locations and score the most points at the end of the game. Build the best crew that's going to work the best for you.
Cool.
Yeah, it's fantastic. It's really, really good. The artwork's amazing. I love all the artwork for all the Garphill games.
It missed my list. Spoiler, but by
you just
10
played
or
this.
so. Yeah, I just played it for the first time really recently, so
Yeah.
it was a little too soon to put it on a list like this. But
Fair.
good call.
Fair. All right, sir.
We're on what, 26?
27.
27.
Yes.
Okay. My number 27 is a large game.
Ooh,
It's
okay.
large.
Yeah,
It's
that's common
very
yours.
overproduced. It is a tile laying game, kind of.
Okay.
Basically, there's a market of cards of slowly increasing prices. Those
Mm-hmm.
cards represent deeds on a central board. When you buy adjacent deeds, you can build larger and larger buildings on those deeds, and that game is...
Is the box this big?
Your entire game bag would be that one box, and it is...
Foundations of Rome.
It is Foundations
This
of
is
Rome.
a cool game.
Yeah, it's really good. It's very
You don't need to
overproduced.
buy it.
Get Foundations of Metropolis. It's fine.
Yeah,
Foundations
yeah.
of Metropolis is good.
This game looks amazing.
But yeah, it's great. It's like a really snappy, way lighter than you'd expect for the production.
yeah, 100 or the price.
Tile laying / location drafting kind of game.
Yeah, it's really cool.
A
Really
lot of
cool.
it's just managing your economy to try to pump either more resources or more population.
Get more
population
deeds.
scores you points, basically round over round, get more deeds, that sort of thing. And yeah, it's just really great.
This game looks amazing. Like when we played it at TabsCon, I believe, right?
Yep.
And it looks amazing on the board. When you've built it up, you've basically
So nice.
built your own custom replica of ancient Rome. It's
yeah.
amazing. I'd like to try Metropolis. I think that's the
game.
one I'll buy if I get one of the two.
Of course.
Alrighty, my number 26.
Yeah, 26.
26. Okay, so my number 26 is I've realized, especially over the last say year or so, I really like kind of cozy farm games. But I also like games that have tight resources. And so this game is a game all about farming with a little bit of asymmetry. It's
This
very
was on
tight
your list.
resources.
This was on your top games of 2024.
It was
Yes,
on
Harvest.
the top of 2024. Yes, it was.
Nice,
Yeah,
good,
yes, it
cool.
is. Harvest is great. I did not think I was going to like it as much as I did when I first played it. The production of it is great, but it does kind of look like a family kind of kid-weighty game.
Yeah, it's
I
not.
would not play it with kids at
it's a
all.
lot.
It's
Yeah, it's
really, really tight. It's one of those games where you have a limited number of worker placement spots that you're competing over in turn order with all of your opponents.
Yeah.
You only have 3 or 4 workers depending on which character you're playing as, and you constantly want to be able to do more stuff, and you just feel like there's always things that you need to do, but you can't. You're trying to get as much fertilizer or poop as you can. You're trying to get a bigger bucket and fill that bucket constantly to plant and tend your crops and everything. It's really cool. Yeah. All right.
I like that game a lot.
Yeah, it's great.
Good show.
It's great. All right, sir. What is your number 26?
My number 26 is an area control game.
Ooh. Okay.
And I don't love area control
I
games generally.
love area
Well,
control
I
games.
say that, but when I get up the list, I might be proving myself wrong here.
Yeah.
It is a drafting area control game
Okay.
where the round takes place over 2 phases. The first phase is you draft a bunch of cards, and that bunch of cards ends up giving you a bag building kind of situation,
Okay.
as well as putting units on the board for you.
I think I know what
And then the second half of the game is you pulling chips out of this bag, battling your opponents in every location.
Yep.
And that game is
Wonderland's War. And this
is
should be
Wonderland's
higher on your list, in my opinion.
Wonderland's War is great. It would be higher if it didn't take so long.
That is the one
But here's my issue,
thing.
because
Yes.
Wonderland's War gets
Yep.
infinitely better as you get closer to max player count,
Yes, it does.
but it also gets way, way longer.
Yes, it does.
So at 3, the game takes the right amount of time, but it's not anywhere as good as at 5,
Yeah, that's
which
true.
takes
That's true.
3 hours or something.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
Game's phenomenal. It's a ton of fun. The time really does fly by.
It really does. Yeah.
It would be at least 10 spots higher up my list if it was a little bit faster.
Yes. No, I agree with that. That's a fair criticism.
Other than that, really, really thinky, really smart. The drafting is very interesting. The whole ratcheting, you can't move backwards situation.
Yep.
As well as choosing the stronger cards that give you more negatives, like potential to bust in fights, or the weaker cards that give you less negatives. And it's just really well thought out. The asymmetry is really cool. The art's phenomenal. Production's great.
It's amazing.
Druid City killed it.
Yeah, it looks amazing on the table, and it's so much fun.
Love
to
it.
play. All right,
Wonderland's War.
Wonderland's War, amazing pick, fantastic, completely agree.
Okay, Jeff.
Yes, sir.
25.
My number 25. Okay, so my number 25 is probably one of my most beloved games, as it should be on my top 30, but one of John's most hated games that I love, and
If it's what I think it is, it's way too high.
It's way too high? Oh, no.
It's
No,
way
not at all.
too high.
This is one of my most played games this year. It's great. So if you...
not what I thought.
It's a
then.
bag builder,
Okay.
okay? You have
yes.
asymmetric units.
Know what it is. Also way too
Your
high.
units are represented by chips, and your actions are also used with or made with said chips.
It's War Chest.
It's War Chest. War Chest is great. Infinite replayability. It's fantastic. If you love chess, but you hate memorization, War Chest.
If you
War
love
Chest
chess
is great.
but hate moving your pieces that you want to move every turn,
It's
get
so good.
War Chest.
You can. You just have to get good at bag building.
Yeah.
This is a great game. Definitely try it out before you buy it, because clearly some people actually absolutely despise it. But know that if you do give War Chest a chance, the key thing is the game gets unlocked once you figure out how to do your bag building. Basically, you have these chips, you're putting them into your bag, you're placing them on the board. When you pull them out of your bag, you can use them to take actions with your units on the board, kill your opponent's pieces, capture a bunch of points, you win. Yeah, it's great. It's fantastic. Love it. They've got different
I'm glad you like
historical seniorios and stuff that you can play as well.
I love that you
which
love
seems
it.
kind of ridiculous with this game.
I love that
but
for you.
It's so good. It's so good.
Okay.
I love abstract strategy. It's
great.
fantastic. The variability is great. War Chest. Try
War
it.
Chest.
It's awesome.
Don't try it.
Yeah.
Okay. Next.
Okay, so
25?
you're number 25.
In a more upbeat note, my number 25 is a party game. It's probably like one of the only party games on this list. I would have included Blood on the Clock Tower, but I consider that more of an event.
Yeah, I took Blood on the Clock Tower off my list because
Yeah.
it would just be in the top 3 forever.
Yeah. But this game is a party game. It scales interestingly well, even though the game gets harder the more people you have.
Okay.
The whole game is one of those, it's like a word guessing game where someone has a card above their head and they don't know what the word is.
Okay, I think I know what this is.
But the trick of this game is both people are playing a game, the guesser and the hint givers, because the hint givers all get to put a hint of one word on a whiteboard, and then if any of them match, they have to erase them.
Yeah,
and then the hint getter only gets the clues that are left. And that game is
Just one. Everybody should own this game. Everybody who hosts board game nights own this
Even
game.
if you don't. It's
Even
a
if you don't
drinking
host.
game.
Yeah. Oh, it's fantastic.
Your hint gets erased, take a drink.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, take a shot of
Whoever
tequila.
guesses right can assign a drink to the worst guess.
Yeah,
Or
100%.
the worst hint. Yeah, it's great.
yeah.
It's so good. One of the easiest to teach games, and it's
Yes.
so funny after the
Yes.
first round, once someone gets the same hint and they have to erase it, they just get it.
Yeah,
Instantly.
yeah,
And the game goes from let's give obvious hints to how can I outside the box hint this
Yeah,
thing in a way
100%.
that's super obvious.
What's the most obscure way that I can give this clue, but they're still going to understand what I'm trying to tell them?
The hint might be tape, and instead of someone giving stick or glue, they give attachment or something.
Just one's great. Good pick.
So
good
good.
pick.
Anyway, it's 25. Jeff,
Cool.
24.
All right, my number 24. Okay, so my number 24, this is a game that I know John loves as well. It is a card drafting.
Okay.
Not card drafting, sorry. Deck building, I meant to say.
Yep.
Deck building, area control gamed, fantasy themed, and that game is
Tyrants of the Underdark.
Tyrants of the Underdark. Yeah, just a little bit
I
higher
knew it
on
was
my
gonna
list.
be on there.
Yeah, no, this game's great. It's John already said a bunch about it. I love that you can make the market deck different every time you play, pretty much, when you add expansions and stuff like that. I've got the version that comes with minis, but it comes with, I think, 1 or 2 less decks.
Yeah, 2 less decks.
I want to play with your version a couple times. But yeah, this game's great. I don't know if it's in print anymore, but if you can get a copy of this thing, it's amazing. Fantasy themed as well. I'm much more of a fantasy than a sci-fi guy.
Okay.
So, yeah. All right, John.
24.
Yes, you're number 24.
So my number 24 is also fantasy.
Yeah,
themed.
yes.
It is we'll call it a civilization building. Not really. It's like a 4X.
Okay.
Basically, it's a cooperative game. You are competing against the AI, if you will, that you have to upkeep between rounds.
Okay.
The AI comes in 2 forms. There's
Okay.
the Central Legion, which is fighting you from the inside. That's the government that's evil. And then there's the outer Horde Chaos, which are the zombies beyond the wall in Game of Thrones, kind of coming after the White Walkers, if you will. And your job is to kind of counter those forces or make them fight each other and evade them while you build your civilizations enough to start to fight back. and take over and beat them. And that game is
Uprising: Curse of the Last Emperor. This is a good game.
Phenomenal.
This is a good game.
Yeah, it's cooperative in the sense that like you're all kind of playing your own game, but you all have to jointly get the highest, like above the scores of both bots to win.
You're trying to beat your opponent in terms of score, but mostly you're trying to beat the AI.
And it's it's really hard.
It's very hard. We've lost far more than we've won.
I much prefer this to Spirit Island. It's a little more random than Spirit Island, or a lot more random. It's all dice. Yeah. But there's a lot of mitigation in the expansions if you get like Titans of the last stage, Titans of the first stage, Titans of the first stage. Yeah. It's great. It's one of the nicer productions of a board game that I've ever seen. It's really well thought out, really well designed. I would categorize it similar to Nemesis, where you're getting an experience and a story.
Yeah, a little bit.
More than just playing a game.
And the standees, it shows how standees should be done. Like
so nice.
They're fantastic. They're
colored,
really nice. So
super nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool. Great game, man.
Sir.
Great game, man. Okay. 23. Okay. So this is another one of my most played games this year.
Nice.
It is my favorite when it comes to kind of the tile drafting, like, and placement, kind of like ecosystem building.
I think I know what it is, but go ahead.
Yeah. This is my girlfriend Jasmine absolutely loves this thing.
She loves beating you at it.
She's getting good, man. I think she has the top score now between the two of us, like of all time. Like it's crazy. She'll demand that I play it all the time, and I'm always happy to. Harmonies. Sorry I didn't let you guess, but Harmonies is fantastic. You're going to be drafting these tiles, building up an ecosystem, building up mountains, building up forest-like areas, plains, rivers, etc., cities, and you're going to be drafting animal cards that you're going to then place their cubes into those ecosystems as long as they make those animals happy and they want to live there because it's built in a way that they can live in and prosper. And you're going to score points depending on how many times you can do that. You're going to try and get all of your cubes off of those cards to be able to draft more cards because you can only have 4 at a time. There's a module that gives you different spirit animals that changes your scoring and stuff. It's great. Infinite replayability, very thinky, but very simple, very accessible for pretty much anybody to play. The game looks beautiful. And yeah, it's fantastic. All right,
good pick.
So you're number 23, sir.
My number 23 has dropped 11 spots.
Oh, wow. Okay. All right.
It is a sandbox game where you are gun-toting.
Okay, I think I
know. And in the Western world, robbing banks, wrangling cattle.
Yep. Being a sheriff.
Catching a train in the expansion.
Yep.
Going to more of the Wild West on your horse with your gun. And that game is
Western Legends.
It is Western Legends.
It's a great game.
It's
fantastic
so good.
Game.
A lot of my games have mostly dropped, and that's just because I've had so much more exposure.
Yes, you've played a ridiculous
And this is a victim. This is one of those victims of that, where I've just played so many games that like it couldn't keep its spot.
It's just as good.
It's just as good. Yeah. Western Legends is great. It's an experience. It plays better at more people, even though it takes longer. Even if nobody knows what they're doing, and you set up just the base game, they'll probably get it done in a couple hours. A lot of avenues to victory. You can be bad. You can be good. You can switch back and forth.
Yes, you can.
There's a whole strategy of just being bad and trying to run the whole time. There's a good strategy of like being good and trying to hunt all the bad people the whole time.
It's harder to score points, but it's more rewarding when you're playing as a good character. It's great. Yeah.
Western Legends. Jeffrey.
Yes, sir.
Number 22.
Number 22.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So my number 22. How to describe this? This game would be higher on my list if I thought that it was easier to table. But it is absolutely fantastic. It is completely politics focused.
What it is.
Every person is playing as a different kind of like position in or representing a different
class
segment or class in society. Either the working class, the middle class, the business class, or
capitalist.
The capitalist, yes, or the government. And basically it's all wheeling and dealing, trying to get the right cards, trying to get your policies implemented to affect society, to represent the people that you're supposed to represent. That sounds really boring, but it's actually really fun and difficult.
And that game is Hegemony.
Yes, it is. Yes. This game is absolutely fantastic. The only reason why it's not higher is because it's a heavy game. If you're not into politics at all, you might not be like super inclined to try it out.
Agree.
And you really do want 4 players, which is the main sticking point and everything for this game. But the production is absolutely amazing. It's incredibly thinky. It's incredibly tricky. You're negotiating constantly. It's so much fun. All right, sir. Your number 22.
My number 22 is, we'll call it a newer heavy Euro game. It's very highly touted. The theme is very much so whatever, at least in my opinion. The concept is it's this new, imagine a certain form of electricity or power was discovered 20 years before.
Okay.
And you're trying to branch that power out into the region you're in.
Okay.
Doing so by building tracks, building different cities or institutions, buildings, let's call them. Building an engine that way. Your action selection is you basically pick it's like a track tile that becomes your action.
Okay.
And you can either use that track tile as a train track and keep it on the board and you lose that action forever.
Yeah.
Or you use it as an actual action and then you can use it over and over again when you refresh your actions.
I don't think I can guess this.
It's a really cool game, and that game is Nucleum.
Okay, I thought you were going for that, but I wasn't sure at all. I haven't played it, so I wasn't sure.
Nucleum is a
I want to try this.
Cool take on, I think, what I'd consider an evolution of Brass. It's a different action selection mechanism, but I don't really consider, imagine these train tracks are just cards in a hand that you got dealt.
Yeah.
It's very similar. You start to be able to have agency and choose which tracks you want.
Okay.
But the way you activate them is very much you can kind of do what you want most of the time, and if you can't, it's because you've boned yourself almost. And I love use an action as a track, you lose that action forever.
Okay.
That combinations. You have to get the actions that were on that tile again or have them somewhere else if you want to do them again. It's a really cool puzzle. I love the networking and stuff's really familiar if you played Brass. It's just kind of an evolution of how they do your network.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
Really slick.
Every time I've heard about Nucleum, it's just made me more and more interested in trying it out. So I'd like to play it soon. It sounds really, really cool. We are on to
your last game, Jeff.
The last game of this
number
list.
21.
Okay, so my number 21. This has fallen, I'm not sure how many spots, but it has definitely fallen for me. But it's been a staple for me for the last few years since it came out and since I first tried it. This is a game that we've done a video on. It is a hand management game. It's a racing game, and it has yes, it is. And I was going to say it has one of the best AI systems that I've ever experienced in a game. Heat is great. You're constantly having this tension between you and the other players trying to just race around this track, however many laps that the current map that you're playing on wants you to do to be first in line across that finish line. And it is absolutely fantastic. The modules that you get in the game add some asymmetry to the play that you draft so you can get cards like brakes, that you have the choice when you play it to go 1 speed or 5.
Yeah.
It's great. The base game is super solid. And the fact that you can always have 7 cars on the board at any time, because even if you're playing with 2 or 3 people, keeps that feeling of just a full race, everybody fighting for position constantly.
Yep.
But the modularity to the game, the new expansion, Heavy Rain, it's great. There's so much replayability in this game. It's always fun. It's easy to teach. It seems like it's more than it is, but you're basically just drafting those cards at the very beginning if you're playing with that module, and then just playing it out and trying to manage your speed, manage the heat in your engine, trying to not spin out, and just playing as efficiently as possible, or to catch up to the person who's at the head of the pack. It's great. It's fantastic. If you haven't played it, as I always say, just try this game. It's so worth it. It's great.
Nice.
Mr. John, your best of this list. Your number 21. Your number 21.
My number 21 has dropped 13 spots.
Okay.
So it was my last year's, what is that, number 7 or 8? It was number 8.
Yeah.
This is a heavy worker placement game.
Okay.
It takes place on a map that has 2 sides, one side being in space, the other side being on a planet.
Oh, I know what this is.
Your job is to place workers and plan ahead for the amount of time you have to be either on the planet or in space.
On Mars.
Yeah, on Mars or in space. And that game is on Mars.
On Mars, yeah.
This is one of Vital Lacerda's games, one of my favorite games from Vital Lacerda. This is another one that's kind of falling into the problem of I've just played so many more games that it's just dropping a little bit.
Yeah.
Also, Inventions exists, and Inventions is, we'll talk about it later, I'm sure.
I'm sure we will.
But yeah, On Mars is just absolutely phenomenal. It's so thinky. I love how the game starts off pretty forgiving, and you can bounce back and forth to space to get resources, then on the planet to use resources. And then over the game, as the game progresses and Mars matures, you're able to stay on the planet longer because you can produce more resources on Mars.
It sounds
so you go to space less.
Yeah.
But you're also able to go to space less frequently as the game goes on.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of forethought and planning required. It's one of Lacerda's, if not arguably Lacerda's best design.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
2025, I think, is going to be the year of Lacerda for me. I'm
Okay.
going to finally play
in.
my first one, and I'm going to play a bunch
I can't believe you had the whole. It was
I
your
can't
fault.
believe I didn't play one this
It's
year.
your fault at this point. It's not our fault.
No, I know, right?
If you had a whole year and you never picked a Lacerda up off the shelf and
know.
played it, that's on you.
Yeah, they're big.
Yeah, sure. They're big. It's fine.
They're big. They're
Anyway.
big and crunchy.
That ends our list.
Yes.
We will be back with our 20 to 11.
Yes, we
and
will.
then our 10 to 1. And until then, comment your 30 to 21 below. Do this with us.
Yeah,
Let us know what you thought.
Follow along, video to video. Give us your list. What you have, what you love.
Absolutely.
That'd be great.
Like this video if you enjoyed, and we'll catch you next time. See ya.
See you later.